so much. Am I on? Yes. Thank you so much. You requested I send you a bio. I remember sending you 3 lines. I don't know if you got all of that. Apparently you had a video and stuff, so thank you so much for that great introduction, and thank you to the organizing team of this conference. Thank you so much for bringing me here. Thank you for picking me to present to you here as ladies. And yes, my name is Nicky Verd. I don't know if anyone here has been at any event where I've spoken, or anyone here has read my book. Oh wow, that's interesting. I always think I'm famous, right? But I promise you, you know me. Let me tell you something happened just last weekend. Where my kids go for coding classes. There's another lady that her child also attends the same coding classes. So, and we've been there for like a couple of months. But usually when we come in, I'm on my laptop, she's on her laptop or on her phone. We just work, and when the kids are done, we pick our kids to go home. So this particular Saturday, it was just last Saturday, we happened to just get into a chat, and she was like, "Oh, Nikki." Then she was like, "Nikki, I don't know you." So her book was lying by me. She picked the book, she's like, "Is this your book?" I was like, "Yeah, this is my book. I know you." Then she's like, "But you look different from what you look like on social media." I'm like, "Okay." When McDonald's is advertised, we go to buy it because we look the same like the advertisement. So for those of you who think you don't know me, maybe you know me, it's just that I look different from what you know on social media. So anyway, we don't have much time, and so we're just gonna get right into it. It's really all about disrupting the status quo, and let me see how this works. Okay, thank you. So our theme for the event is finding balance in your journey, right? So I sort of came up with some rules. I don't know why I call them rules, but 15 rules. We can call them tips, call them steps for navigating challenges. And usually, this is what we want, right? But what we get is what? Most of the time is disruption. And we don't want that, we want balance. Sometimes when you realize certain things are not going the way you want them to be, you start feeling out of place, you start feeling like these are like signs that shows your life is off balance. I've been through this so many times over and over, even when I think, finally, I'm out of this. Before you know, something happens and you're right back. You know, COVID happened, and you know, no one sitting here, there's no one sitting in this room today that was not affected in some way by COVID-19, right? So some of these things happen, and before we know it, we start feeling all of these. I don't have to name them all. I just want us to quickly get into it. And so what is balance? The expression work-life balance suggests an equal division of 2 things, you know, work and life. It could be anything else. And balance is defined as an even distribution of weight, you know, or enabling someone or something to remain upright or steady. And when you just look at that, you realize that balance is almost impossible, right? Because how many hours do you give to work alone? 5 to 9, 8 hours, 7 hours. So how do you be able to put your kids, your family, or whatever other activities you have going, to be able to achieve that balance? It's almost impossible, but nonetheless we strive towards it, right? So the very first point I would like to, you know, as a rule or a tip, you can call it, is to stop seeking balance. Lose balance, define balance. Because if you're really looking for balance for everything to be equal, it's not possible. It's actually not possible. So instead of trying to divide your time, your attention, and everything, even your money, equally, no, rather create schedules or plans that are focused on particular activities. You can schedule your time for work when you're at work. When you get back home, you schedule your time for cooking, you schedule your time for laundry. It could be maybe time to hang out with kids, time for exercise. Exercise is very important. I'm glad that he mentioned it when he was here. You know, shopping, friends, family, and all of that. So you just have to create these schedules and make sure that each of these has its own place. It cannot be balance because work takes majority over time, so that is just the reality of how it is. And learn to say no to things that are not priorities. You know, for some people it's very difficult to say no. Everything that comes over, like, okay, I'll see what to do. No, just learn to say no. No is a complete sentence. You don't have to explain yourself. Okay? Am I right? No is a complete sentence. So learn to say no to things that are not priorities. And delegate as much as can be delegated so that you can be able to find some sort of balance. And let go of perfectionism. I am a recovering perfectionist. I know how draining that can be. Everything has to be to the T. Let go of that. You find some sort of balance. And sometimes you just have to unplug, right? There are times that I just get off social media for a month, 30 days or so, just to be able to find some peace. So you can also try doing things like that to be able to find balance. And the next rule or tip would be, don't aim for work-life balance, really aim for meaning. Aim that what you're doing has some sort of meaning. Aim for a work-life fulfillment. And in that way, you don't stress all about balance. Okay, I only had 30 minutes with my kids today. I only had 2 minutes with a friend today. No, aim for those type of fulfilling relationships. Even if it's just 2 minutes you spend with a friend, it should be fulfilling, right? 30 minutes you spend with your kids, it should be fulfilling. So aim for some sort of meaning and fulfillment in your work and in your life, rather than just having this unattainable goal of it has to balance, because it's not going to be, right? And the next rule would be to learn to adapt to change. And one of my favorite quotes is from Charles Darwin, and he said, "It is not the strongest species that survives, nor the most intelligent. It is the one that is most adaptable to change." There are so many people sitting in the room that when something out of order happens, completely throw them off, because they struggle to adapt to change. But in the times in which we are living, if you are unable to adapt to change, how can you find balance? It's almost impossible, right? Be like a chameleon. I don't mean that chameleon that you can trust, right? I don't mean those type of people. That's what I'm talking about. Be like a chameleon. What is the color in the room? Is it blue? You adapt to that. Is it pink? You adapt to that. What is happening in your life? Adapt to that. What is happening in the world? Try and adapt to that. Alright? Because you need to adapt to the new normal. Whatever that new normal may be in your own life, new normal is different for each and every one of us in here. For some people, it's working from home. Some people, it's working from home and working from the office. Some people, it's working from the office all the time. Some people, it's traveling all the time. So the new normal is different for each and every one. So you need to learn to adapt to whatever is your own new normal. Because being a working mom is hard. Being a wife is hard. Being a daughter, a friend is hard. Learn to adapt to those. You know, when we are kids, all we needed to do was to eat, sleep, cry, eat again, sleep. Right now you become an adult. It's adult thing. I didn't sign up for that, but we're here. You are here. Learn to adapt to be an adult. Learn to adapt. Even when you were in varsity, all you did was hang out with friends, you know, study, hang out with friends. Now it's different. Now you're a mom, maybe you're a wife, maybe you're a father, maybe you're a husband, maybe you're a father. You know, you need to learn to adapt to that instead of complaining and wishing for the good old days where you could just hang out, you know, and not have to worry who is going to eat what. Now there are little ones depending on you. Now someone depends on you. It might not be your kids, it might be your parents, it might be other family members. So learn to adapt with being an adult. And speaking of adapting, that leads me to, I want to share a little bit about my story of how I actually came to do what I kind of do now. And whether by circumstances or by deliberate choice, your life will be disrupted. Disruption is something that we don't have control over. Okay? In 2016, I was still very much in the corporate world. And so one morning, I went to work and my boss called me in for a meeting. And I thought that it was just one of the meetings for me to bring him up to speed with what has been happening. But by the end of that meeting, I was jobless. They told me the company is restructuring and they're wondering how to tell me, but there's no better way to say that. We're sorry, we have to let you go. I did not see retrenchment coming. So that day, and the weeks and the month, I had a couple of weeks to finalize everything and leave. But that day and a couple of weeks that I was still there, and the months that followed, I I could not believe what happened. I was like, oh my God, where do I start? It wasn't like I had any plan B. It wasn't like, all I knew was to go to work, come back, and then one morning it was over. I was literally still starting to climb the corporate ladder, as we call it, right? And someone just smashed it from underneath me. As time went on, the pain, the frustration became some sort of curiosity. In fact, when that happened, I was like, young people shouldn't be retrenched. I don't look like young, right? But I was entitled. I was like, I'm too young for this. I feel like there were some old people, I actually had a few in mind, and I thought, you've been working for 20 years! You've been working for 15 years! Just 30, why me? You know, I was angry, I was entitled, I was confused and all of that. But as time went on, my anger, my frustration, my despair, it transformed into some sort of curiosity, right? So I started asking questions as to what is driving retrenchment. You know, when you buy a car, suddenly you start seeing that number of car everywhere. Everyone ever had that experience? So for me, because I've been retrenched, when I turn on the news, I'll hear retrenchment. I turn on the radio, I'll hear retrenchment. I haven't been paying attention to this sort of news before, but now it's just jumping on me because I'm going through this. So it kind of brought about this curiosity, like, what is driving retrenchment? You know, I've been waiting for this driving retrenchment. At the time, 2016, right, there were companies that were retrenching like 2,000 employees in the space of like 2-3 years. I was like, people are like the lifeblood of any organization. How do organizations keep thriving, you know, when they let go so many people? Those are the questions in my mind. And I threw myself on the internet to satisfy my curiosity. That's what I wanted to do. I was like, okay, I just want to know. After all, I'm jobless, but I have a lot of time in my hands. So I threw myself on the internet. And for the first time, I came across concepts like artificial intelligence, you know, automation, the whole emerging technologies that are coming on, fourth industrial revolution. It just jumped on me, and I was like, wow, this is quite fascinating. I don't have any background in technology. The technology that I was exposed to at that time was to sit on my laptop, work, or use smartphone, make calls. That was it, nothing beyond that. And I'm sitting here and coming across concepts like artificial intelligence, you know, automation, and all of these things. It sounded to me like Chinese language, robotics. What is that? So the more curious I was, the more I wanted to know more. So I just kind of just went through the whole rabbit hole all the way in. And I was like, if there was a first industrial revolution, I mean, if there's the fourth, then there was the first, there was the second, there was the third. So I just went all the way in research, and I was fascinated. So I started writing about it on social media, and I realized that so many people were just as fascinated as I was on how much technology is changing work. So one of my main findings was that when organizations let go so many people, they are sort of replaced by machines. And I was like, got you, now I know what my boss did, right? I've been replaced by a machine, like how are you functioning without me? I wanted to know that. But nonetheless, because a lot of people on social media started asking me questions as though I was the expert. Oh, okay, how much do I read here? I just know this is interesting, and I'm writing about it on social media. So, as time went on, I started thinking at the back of my mind, maybe someone should write a book about how technology is changing the world of work and life in general. But in a million years, I didn't think that someone would me. It just was a wish, like I wish someone would do this. But that thought would not lead me. I had so many reasons why I don't qualify to write a book. I'm not smart, I'm not an academician by any stretch of imagination, I don't have a degree, okay? So I was like, no, I don't qualify to write a book. I used to think that you need to be like really, really smart to write a book, okay? Now, some of my friends, when they hear I write a book, they are like, wow, Nicky, you wrote a book. I'm like, no, I'm more surprised than all of you that I wrote a book. I still usually have to pitch myself that I wrote a book. So anyway, it just revolved from me writing social media. I started a blog before finally writing a book. So I was writing articles on my blog, and then it evolved from there into a book. And I thought to myself, what better title than Disrupt Yourself or Be Disrupted? Here I was minding my business, and my boss was like, hey, Nicky, it's time to go. So I was like, I need us to start having these conversations. People need to start asking themselves hard questions, uncomfortable questions. How is technology changing your industry? Do you know? Have you researched on that? Whatever maybe you're a student, what you're studying in school, by the time you graduate, maybe 3 years, 4 years from now, will you still be relevant for the marketplace? Can you be replaced by a machine? That's a hard one, right? Those were questions I wanted people to come face to face with. Ask yourself what you do at work. If you're used to crunching numbers, can a software do that? Can you be replaced by a software? And if you can, what is your plan B? How is that changing the industry? Better still, how can you leverage your technology to stay relevant for the world in which we live? Because gone are the days where a 4-year degree served you for a lifetime. That was in the age of our parents. If you had a 4-year degree from 10 years ago, it's no longer relevant for the world in which we're living. So these are the conversations I wanted us to start having. But nonetheless, one of the things that really stood out for me was that people are attributing technology or disruption only to the marketplace. They don't think that is something that can be applied to individuals. When we speak of disruption or we speak of digital transformation, we are only thinking of the marketplace. We're not thinking of people. And that's why my book is like Disrupt Yourself or Be Disrupted. It's you. It's about you. It's about us. Right? Because when we think of disruption, we're thinking, okay, maybe Uber disrupted the transportation industry, Airbnb is disrupting the hotel business and all of that. But if the marketplace is disrupting and it's changing, and individuals, us sitting here, if we are not doing something to catch up or to be in alignment with where the world is going, then we'll be left behind, right? Which leads to my next point. For us to be able to find balance in the era in which we're living, you need to be in alignment with where the world is going. How much? Same question that I just asked. How is technology changing your industry? Once you know that, you'll be able to find some sort of balance, because if has anyone tried to find balance in the dark? Because that's what happens if you are not aware of how technology is changing your particular industry or your particular profession. It therefore means you are trying to find balance in the dark. Ask yourself questions: what kind of jobs in future will your children be able to do? It's definitely going to be what some of us are doing today. Some of what we are doing today, by the time our kids get there, it will be obsolete. And with the way technology is going, how can technology help you become a better employee, a better person, a better mom, a better wife, and all of that? Because personal disruption really at its core is about forward thinking. How you can evolve and how you can reinvent yourself. And this, I sort of did not plan for it to happen, but when it happened, I had to learn when to adapt and to be able to align myself with where the world is going. And the next role for you to be able to find balance is mindset. Like I'm saying, if you still have that mindset that the 4-year degree will serve you for a lifetime, you need to shift that mindset. Instead, throw yourself out there, try to find certification that are relevant for your field, even if your boss is not sponsoring you, right? There's some growth, some personal growth you have to pay it out of pocket for you to stay relevant. Because some people are like wheelbarrows. You push, you leave here, next year you come and pick them from here, and you keep pushing again. Don't be a wheelbarrow, okay? You cannot find balance being a wheelbarrow. You need to be able to take into your own hands, your own growth, and be able to learn and grow. Learn certain things, do certain certification, and pay out of pocket on your own, so that when maybe there's an opening within your organization that they're looking for, who can we promote? Who has this knowledge? You'll be like, I do, because you are taking your own growth into your hands, right? Everything changes when you change your perspective. Your beliefs, either positive or negative, hurtful or helpful, they largely determine everything you do. You cannot find balance in your mindset is the best. Am I right? One of the be able to find balance for you to be a lifelong learner. It's just from the previous point I mentioned, you need to be a lifelong learner. You cannot rely on what worked 5 years ago. We cannot rely on what worked 10 years ago. We can't rely on what worked in the past. We need to continually learn. And Arvin Toffler said the 83rd of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. That is disruption. That is finding balance. Some of us sitting might be wondering, okay, but what does that mean? It doesn't always mean going back to school, right? It just means being aware of where the world is going. Because sometimes when we talk about upskilling yourself, people are just thinking, okay, I need to go get that degree. No, I kind of mentioned it in my book as recycling the problems. Because everything is not just go back to school, get a degree, find out this thing or whatever degree you're trying to get, when you do come out, really be relevant to the marketplace. A degree might not be what you need, it might just be a 6-month course. A 6-month course might not be what you need, it might just literally need to just go on Google, the University of Google, and produce people like Nicky Verd, right? That's the university in itself. You just need to go there and find out certain things, Google certain information, just to be able to not be in the dark, just to open your mind to what is happening in the world, in your field, in your profession, right? A lot of us women here, where do we learn makeup? Thank you! Thank you. I'm lookable, right? I'm also part of those views. But when we go online and we find videos of things like makeup, and they compare to the video of financial intelligence, you see that the view, something is missing, right? So, as much as we want to look good, as much as we want to find the latest trends in fashion, latest trends in hair, and all of that, we should be able to find the latest trends in our industry and how it's changing our particular industry. Find the latest trends that can also help you better manage your life as a mom, as a wife, as a father, as a husband, and all of that, right? That's being a lifelong learner. Be curious. If you notice when I was sharing my story, I mentioned that out of curiosity, I was like, what is driving retrenchment? And that curiosity put me in the path in which I am today. So be able to ask yourself questions, be curious. All right, not that type of curiosity where people are having a conversation and you're like, that's not what I'm talking about, okay? Just be curious about life, about yourself, about your profession, and things like that. Curiosity is really about the ability and habit to apply a sense of wonder, right? Staying hungry for new information gives you an edge. It gives you balance in life, really. Curious people are always trying new things, asking questions, searching for answers, questioning conventional thinking. Do you ask questions, or you're the type that when they say, does anyone have a question? If I ask, they laugh at me. Okay, go and ask Google. Google will laugh at you, right? Whatever bizarre question you don't want to ask in public, just go and Google. Ask, and you'll find the answers, okay? Improve your emotional intelligence. Are there people that don't want to show up to work on Monday? Not because they don't like their job, but because they are waiting to have an encounter with certain people. This is where emotional intelligence comes in. Okay? It's really about the measure of your ability to maintain peace with others, keep to time, be responsible, honest, respect boundaries, humble, genuine, and considerate. Emotional intelligence is your ability to recognize and manage your emotions and the emotions of other people. When it comes to managing our emotions, you might be like, yeah, I'm on board for that. Why should I manage the emotions of another person? If you're not able to manage the emotions of someone else, there will always be chaos and conflict all the time. What do I mean by managing the emotions of someone else? If someone just lashed out at you, for something you were you don't even know what's going on, how are you going to respond to that? How you respond to that determines how you manage the emotions of other people. If you lash back, it's like using fire to quench fire, right? Even firefighters don't use fire to quench fire. What do they use? Water. So that is managing your emotions and the emotions of other people. If you're going to do something, don't drop it on other people. Learn to regulate your own emotions. That's what emotional intelligence is all about. And this is one of the key skills For the world in which we're living now and for the future of work, being able to regulate your own emotions, because some people are just chaos. Some people are at a time bomb waiting to explode. But you need to get to that point where you are able to manage the emotions and the emotions of other people. Be self-aware, have empathy, self-regulate, social skills. Is it possible to find balance if you're always on the edge? If you're always at war with people? If you're always fighting, always in conflict? Can we find balance that way? We can't, right? So this is quite an important skill or an important tool for us to be able to find balance in our life. Which is very much the same thing, developing soft skills. That's another word for it. Maybe the one that is more familiar with the corporate world, soft skills, right? People usually get hired for their technical skills, but most of the time people get fired for lack of soft skills. Am I right? It shows you how important it is. Imagine having a brilliant colleague who knows everything, whether in finance, marketing, whatever. They are brilliant in their job, but they are paid to do it. Anyone have an experience like that? Exactly. Exactly. That's how important soft skills are. Don't take it for granted. Don't look at it like, no, I'm intelligent, I'm qualified, I'm all of that. Yes, you are qualified. Yes, you are intelligent. But where do you fall on the scale of your soft skills or your emotional intelligence? Being a good, well-rounded human being is good for life and business. The future actually belongs to those who can combine the technical skills with soft skills. That is the ultimate art of skills. Because it's difficult. It's really difficult to work with someone who is difficult to work with.